Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president again.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at...
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8th electoral vote, in Indiana with its 11th electoral vote, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
What's up, Snake Pit? What's up, 199? Welcome to CobraCast. I am your host, D-Day Cobra, Jeremy, and boy, oh boy, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Did you enjoy the Oscars? Did you enjoy it? Oh man, it was so great. It was so great. I mean, at least Christopher Nolan finally won, but I can't appreciate it as much as I would like to because I have zero respect for the Academy and Hollywood, but it was fun seeing Jimmy Kimmel walk right into another Trump troll. It was absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I've been no sound. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me I have no sound. I think we're good. No boomer here. No boomer here. Not this time. There may be a day where I boomer something, but it will not be, well, I don't even want to say today because I'll probably will boomer something before the day is up. But yes, thank you all so much. BoomerCast IRL says the Silver Battleship. Thank you. But yes, there's a lot going on. There's this Tucker Carlson, Chris Cuomo sit-down interview that I haven't even had a chance to sit through and watch, but I've seen a bunch of clips, and it actually looks really good. It actually looks really good, and it looks like it was a really good discussion. I'm not a fan of Chris Cuomo at all, but just seeing the back and forth between Tucker and Chris Cuomo, it does look pretty interesting, I will say. Jared the American for 199 says, can I have some prayers for my family, please? Absolutely. Jared the American, Snake Pit, you guys throw some positive vibes and some prayers out there for Jared the American. Hope everything goes well for you, brother. You've been here supporting for a long time, so we got your back, man. So nothing but prayers for you. Lord Botha says social media Jeremy, are country girls gay? Jeremy, if country girls are gay, I don't want to be straight. Yeah, man, that whole situation with this girl, and like I don't really, it's so foreign to me that people would find, and there's not many people out there, but it's so foreign to me that anybody finds her not attractive. That's just weird in every way possible. But you know, it's we may get into that a little bit later. Is her name Hannah Barron? Is that her name? Yeah, it's wild, and it just kind of show you how far we have fallen as a culture when people are upset about her. And she's handled everything well. So if you don't know, there's this woman who, my only exposure to this woman that got mad at this Hannah Barron girl was, I think she was on Timcast one time, I think. And, but this woman kind of quote tweeted a TikTok video of this girl, who's a country girl, and basically said she was manly and she's not attractive and she can't believe men find this attractive. And it went mega viral. And this person's just been getting ratioed like hell. I mean, ratioed like hell. Look, the chat seems like they want to watch it. So let me see if I could pull some of this up really quick so we can talk about Hannah Barron really quick. I wasn't really prepared to talk about this, but it has literally dominated social media. It just dominated. Let me see if I could find the source that kind of started this whole thing. While we're waiting on that, let's see how the good old chat is doing really quickly. So I did comment towards the person that made the initial tweet to her. Let me see if I can find that one really quickly, and we will discuss it because it has dominated. I mean, it has absolutely dominated social media right here. Okay, so this is the chick that started the whole thing. This chick right here started the whole thing, and the internet seems to despise her, rightfully so, because she seriously has stepped in it with this whole story. I'm trying to pull up my feed. Yeah, shut up, YouTube. I don't care about that. Okay, so this whole story has just been wild. Now, let me see if I can find the initial post that started all of this. God, that's all she's doing is tweeting about Hannah Barron. That's all she's doing. Okay, so is this it right here? Right here. Okay, this is the tweet that started it all right here. Okay. This accent needs to be illegal, and women should be banned from doing manual labor like this. There is nothing feminine about American women. American women are literally men. Now, here's what I think happened. I'm just going to speculate here. I think that, chat, am I right that this chick show up on Timcast? This Samira or whatever. Did she show up on Timcast? Correct me if I'm wrong. And it was only like about a month ago, I feel like. Wasn't she on Timcast? Yes or no? Because my theory here is that she was on Timcast and it was recently. Okay. So obviously there's this whole thing about like calling out what's going on in the West right now with the, all these manly women and all of this bullshit. This wasn't it. But I think that she thought that she was getting some grift. I think she thought she was like grifting off of this to try to call out like manly women, completely not having any understanding of Southern women at all. That's what I feel like. But anyway, so she tweets this video out. This is the video right here. Let's listen.
Good morning, y'all. Quick update on the house because I've been pretty terrible about giving y'all these. We took a little break for noodling season and to put out boxes. Now that it's dried in, we can do it at our own pace. But here she is. We're going to stain all that wood a darker brown, and the shutters, when we get that on, we'll have handrails, of course. There's the carport over there. Quick run through. All these trusses are going to be exposed, and we're going to have old tin in the ceiling. Got Daddy and Paul up there working on a wall we're going to put up for the upstairs office. And we got Def Leppard playing in the background, of course. Back porch, beautiful view. And then the walkway to the carport. I'll try to be better about these. But you can also use my code Hannah25 for 25% off We the People holsters. Hope y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all.
So this started a massive, like, Twitter firestorm, okay? So this chick right here, again, the Samira chick, I think that she thought she was actually kind of like going, oh, I'm going to get all the right-wingers to side with me on this because, the narrative about what Hollywood's doing and all of that, and it completely backfired on her, and she has doubled and tripled down massively. So this was this Hannah girl's response to going mega viral. This was her response.
Good morning, y'all. I don't have a Twitter. I did at one point, but my account got removed for whatever reason, and I just hadn't got around to making another account. But apparently I'm trending on Twitter right now because some girl, hey Meryl, some girl said that my accent should be illegal. Women shouldn't do manual labor. What else did she say? American women are basically men, and she just said that I was not feminine. Ooh. And I would tell y'all this girl's name, but I can't remember it because I don't have a clue who she is. So that should tell you how relevant this person is. But I just think it's hilarious because I grew up as the weird kid in high school who hunted and fished too much because back then it wasn't cool for women to hunt or fish or the whole country lifestyle. And I'm so proud of all the women in the outdoors now who are making that more cool or popular. So proud of us. I think we're doing great. But I've been helping Dad build houses since I was 15. When I was a senior in high school, I taught kids how to weld in ag class. So I've done, not manual labor. When I think of manual labor, I think of what my dad does. I'm nowhere near that. I just help as much as I can, and I try. And it's fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of blue-collar women out there who are also feminine. And so I just think that you should embrace your own individuality. You should be yourself. And don't worry about what anybody else said, because these folks talking about me and think they're going to offend me, that ship sailed a long time ago. I've been getting picked on my whole life. I grew up around men. Well. So don't be scared to build your own box and don't try to fit in anybody else's. Be your own person and you'll be happier in the long run because of that. And don't worry about what anybody else has to say. Hope y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all.
I mean, how can you dislike this girl at all? Okay. And so she keeps doubling down on it. She keeps going off about this whole thing. Like her whole timeline has been like right here. This is her. You're.
I ain't sure about the back of this because I either go from looking like a...
I don't want to play the music. Hang on. I don't want to play the music. But you're telling men that this ain't attractive? Are you kidding me? All right. Like, come on. But her whole timeline is about her. Look at this chick. She's a badass. So everybody's been talking about this. And now, because of all of this, this is the chick that was talking bad about Hannah. So Hannah has made a Twitter account. Okay, Hannah has she has a Twitter account right here, Hannah Barron. And so she's just like, really? You think people aren't going to find her attractive? Are you kidding me? You have stepped in it big time. Like, come on, dude. This is a badass chick right here. This is a badass chick. This is amazing. So yeah, this is backfired.
On Twitter or X, I figured I would actually make an account. I could not use my original handle, Hannah Barron 96, like I have across all platforms because Twitter suspended my account. Still don't know why. I tried to get it back and they said no. So I made a new account that is Hannah Barron 96 with an underscore behind it. So Hannah Barron 96 underscore is my only Twitter account. There are some fake ones out there and they're not me. And they got a bunch of followers too, but they're not me. My only account on Twitter or X is Hannah Barron 96.
So anyway, I got to show you one other thing that's happened too. Okay, just give me just a second. Okay, I gotta find it. It's Hannah Barron. Is it 2? Okay, 2 R's. Okay. So right here. All right, check this out. All right. Now again, I want everybody to understand that people are saying that this is not attractive. That's Hannah Barron right there. There are people that are trying to say that you're gay if you are attracted to her. Okay. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, there you go. Chat's going crazy now. The whole story has just been such nonsense. And yeah, we need more Hannah Barons in the world. That's just the bottom line. That's the bottom line. But on that note, and I saw like Jake the Viking knows her. Shout out to you, Disco Cobra. I see you, brother. I'll get to that here in just a minute. But since we're there, you know what? We're rolling the dice, okay? I don't monetize the streams anyway. I don't turn monetization on the streams anyway. So, you know, like there's a lot of badass women in our space, okay? I don't care. This might get me. I hope it doesn't get me hit, but this is the funniest shit ever. So we gotta listen to this video from Melanie Mack. All right, we gotta listen to this video from Melanie Mack. Here we go.
So I've been getting a lot of people who are saying, "Hey, Melanie, why is saying faggot your whole personality?" And you know, I get it. But the thing is most of the people saying this have pronouns and pride flags in their bio. So I'm like, wait a minute. You're mad at me because saying faggot is my whole personality. Meanwhile, your whole personality is being a faggot.
Holy shit. Holy crap. If you want to go see that one, you can go listen to it on Twitter. Oh my God, it's amazing, dude. I saw that. I texted her immediately. I'm like, I am dying right now. Like, this is the funniest thing I've seen all day long. It's so funny. It's so funny. So we are on Rumble in case anything happens to the stream. We are on Rumble. Okay. So anyway, let's talk. Okay. Disco freaking Cobra just dropped a $100 super chat. Holy crap, Disco Cobra. Shout out to Rippa on the new comic. Went ahead and got all 4, including Alpha Core. Love support people out there doing things mainstream won't do. That live action trailer was cool. Also, people calling country girls less feminine. Heck, they could learn a thing or two. 1000%. And I actually have the website pulled up for Rippaverse. I'm in a queue right now, so I've got to give it just a minute. But Yaira has launched today, and we do have an article on geeksgamers.com. But dude, every time I think that, man, like they can't top what they've already done at the Rippaverse. Eric and the team at Rippaverse does it again. It is truly incredible. It's truly amazing. So right now, if you go over there, the campaign is at 885,000, right at 886 right now. The campaign started at 10 a.m. this morning. 10 a.m. this morning, and they are already at almost $900,000. It's just unbelievable. It really is, man. So congratulations to Eric. Congratulations to the whole Rippaverse team, the Saska sisters. It's truly amazing. Really appreciate them. It's going to hit, it'll hit, obviously it's going to hit 1 million. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And it's a testament to all of you out there. It's a testament to the people out there supporting and putting your money where your mouth is. I talked about this today. Like I was talking about my website today because I pulled up this garbage tier website talking about Sweet Baby Inc. And all the nonsense that they have going on, and they were defending Sweet Baby Inc. And I pulled up their website, and their website was just littered with fucking ads, like littered with ads. And I was like, you know, I'm not saying I won't ever, by the way. I want to put it out there. I'm not saying I will not ever do it. What I'm saying, though, is my website, I've had my website for, God, I don't know. How long have I had my website for? I guess I've had my website for 10 years, at least. I have never put ads on my website. I've never put ads on my website. I mean, maybe in the early days we might have had like Google ads, but since it's become an editorial website, I have never put ads on our website. Not one time. You go to geeksandgamers.com and you're not going to find ads because you guys support us. So like you go to my website right now, you're not going to see ads because we don't implement ads. We want the user experience to be there. You know, there's no ads here. Go to the forums. There's no ads. There's nothing going to bog you down. It's just there for you guys to experience and have fun. So when you're sitting there supporting, you know, whether it's this stream or the Geeks and Gamers streams or whatever, that's what I do with that. I'm like, well, I can make up that from helping the user experience from that perspective. So again, the people make all of this happen. The people make all of this happen. Somebody says, okay, repeat much? I mean, I can bring up Hannah Barron again if you want me to repeat. Yes, I will repeat. I will repeat all day long. That's kind of what I do here. When you're on a live stream, you kind of have to fill dead air and things like that. So yeah, we can just repeat ourselves if you want. We can go over the Hannah Barron stuff all over again. We can break it down frame by frame if you would like. So like for instance, this is what I do. The 199 exists because people come in here running their mouths, trolling, all of that. Let me tell you guys a story really quick, okay? Let me tell you guys a quick story, okay? Quick story, all right? So if somebody the other day on Twitter when I was going after the Act Man, and he responded with, "Your channel's dying." So this is my tweet. He said, if you would have focused on the issue instead of kissing that corporate ass, that's what I said. If you would have focused on the issue instead of kissing that corporate ass, you wouldn't look so retarded now. But it's a good thing people see you for the fraud you are, talking about Actman. This guy comes in, this guy with 130 followers. Okay, I didn't respond to him, but he said, your channel's dying. Now, he was talking about Geeks and Gamers. All right, he was talking about Geeks and Gamers. This person's like, no, it's not. He responds, and he says, okay. And he's showing like, we're only getting 5,000, 6,000, 6,000, 4,000, 6,000. This guy says, you showed me he's doing just fine. 4,000 views isn't fine on a 400,000 sub channel. Blah, blah, blah. This person starts talking about super chats and everything like that. It's like the Michael Jordan meme. So I took that personally. I didn't respond to this clown, but I did take it personally. So if you go over here, these are the views on Geeks and Gamers, and we were uploading a lot of clips, okay? We were uploading a lot of clips, stuff like that. 12,000 views, 11,000 views, 6,000 views, 4,000, 6,000, 6,000. I haven't been making any videos. So as soon as I saw that guy run his mouth, I decided, you know what? Why don't I start making videos again and prove that guy wrong? So I started making videos again. So look at here, 33, 60,000 views, 65, 59, 61, 103,000 views on the most recent video, all because that guy said my channel's dying. And I was like, you know what? He's actually right. Why don't I just make more videos? So now all the fucking videos are doing really good now. Minimum of 60,000 views, broke 100,000 views overnight. That video has only been up for 19 hours, and it's got 100,000 views in 19 hours. So thank you, hater, for, motivating me to start making videos again. It's what you got to do, man. You got to let the people that are out there just talking shit just motivate you. So that's what we do around here, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad we did. Okay, so we've got this clip right here from Tucker Carlson and Chris Cuomo. I have not seen the Tucker Carlson-Chris Cuomo interview. I haven't seen it. But this was pretty interesting to listen to.
I don't make a gender distinction.
Really?
I know too many women who can kick my ass.
You
know what I mean? Like
I don't think you know a single... That's not true.
I do.
Name one who could kick your ass. So I'm 6'1", or was before I had back surgery.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
We're trying to be real with each other.
So I will say this much, okay? I will say this much. while I agree with the overall point Tucker is making, I think there's plenty of women that could beat Chris Cuomo's ass. I'm just saying. I think there's plenty of women that can beat Chris Cuomo's ass. 1,000%. Although I agree with Tucker's overall point. I think there's a lot of women that could beat Cuomo's ass.
They're here, you know what I mean?
Well, you're a lot taller than I am, okay? I'm just saying. And you're famously a bodybuilder. There's not one woman in America who can kick your ass. It's just not true. And you know it's not true. And you have to say it to like make the unhappy, unmarried women.
You went to the UFC fight. You think you could get in there with the women who are fighting and come out looking like that?
No, I'm saying you specifically.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I have a polygraph exam, and I didn't want to have to do this on camera, okay? But if I applied it to you...
I would pass in flying colors because I know how to beat the test. And I can tell you how if you want to know. Okay, that's why they're not admissible in court.
But can I just ask you, like, you know in your heart you don't actually think there's a single woman in this
I really
country
do.
What's her name?
I really do. I know. The whole point is that I don't have to know them by person.
Men and women are very different, much more different. You know, we spend all of our time on racial differences. Your race, my race, and there are differences between races. There is no difference between races that's a quarter as profound as the difference between sexes. These are biological differences that are physical, they're psychological, they're hormonal.
Well,
These
that's
are
kind
profound differences.
But that's kind of the point about drawing racial distinctions is that you're really the same. And obviously,
that's my point.
Biologically, you're different. But what I'm saying, I don't see it as a less than. Can women lift as much weight as men on average? Of course not.
No. I'm making the opposite argument. It's not less than. I like women better. And I think that my job, all of our jobs as men, is to treat women differently, and better than we treat men. That is the idea. Oh, that's chivalry. Yeah, okay, honey. Good luck in a world without it. And I'm serious.
That's right.
If you got into an argument, and I know you well enough to know, if you're standing in a restaurant and someone's like, fuck you, Chris Cuomo, you'd punch him out. If a woman did that...
Depends where my cash flow is. I really don't have a lot of capital right now.
You would want to. You're quick with the punches.
I would definitely want to.
I happen to know that. If a woman got way up in your face, you would know exactly.
I wouldn't.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
exactly.
It is a bigger sin, not just against her, but against yourself and your dignity and your responsibility as a man. Your job is to protect women.
I'll give you the gender.
Period.
I don't see it exactly the same way.
Because you don't want to admit it. You're telling me some girl's going to kick your ass. No. You know that's not true.
Hold on.
Such a, like, Tucker crushed him on that. So I haven't seen the whole thing, but it looks like a really, really good, okay, here's another one. I haven't seen this clip.
So their skin color is always wrong. It was every bit as wrong as what's happening now. It's every affirmative.
Hang on, before we do that, I think we had let's see. Mark of Reality for 50 says, I get generally pissed when people from Muslim cultures like Lebanon and Malaysia come into American internet spaces and try to attack American culture. But I should take Hannah Barron's advice and not worry about it. Well, I mean, are you talking about what's that guy's name? What's that guy's name from Malaysia? The big, I say his name all the time. He's always on my timeline. The guy from Malaysia that pulls the whole I'm a MAGA Republican conservative. Ian Miles Chong, yes, him. Yeah, that guy, man. That guy's such a... he's actually gone after geeks and gamers in the past. Yeah, that guy's just awful. But, yeah, man, like, Hannah Barron, she's going to be a star, and I think she can actually, like, she's got a good kind of mindset with everything going on, so I dig it. But I understand what you're saying, Mark of Reality. I do.
And I think attacking people on the basis of their skin color is always wrong. It was every bit as wrong as what's happening now. It's every affirmative action, totally immoral. How can you give someone a job on the basis of a skin color? How can you deny someone a job on the basis of a skin color? You're not allowed to do that in our country. That's what I was taught growing up in a very liberal place in California. And then I get older and it's like, oh, we're definitely going to do that. And you can't complain about it or you're the racist. And it's like, no. You're the one punishing people for how they were born, for their skin color. I thought that was like Bull Connor stuff. I thought we hated that. In fact, I thought that was the lodestar of American politics. The one thing we hate is attacking people, denying them opportunity on the basis of their skin color. And they're like, oh, no. Not only do we do that, but you can't mention it. Well, I think I can, actually. And boy, I've had a lot of people, Republicans, tell me I can't mention that. Why? Why? Well, they never explain. Just shut up.
Well, it makes them radioactive.
I don't care. That's wrong.
Because it is substituting a level playing field where there isn't one. So the way affirmative action was supposed to work was that it would enable a merit-based system that people who are minorities were being kept out of for two reasons. One, they didn't have the opportunities early on to build up the tools that a lot of white people did because of what they call now privilege, but really it's opportunity. And the second reason is that because white people were the majority and didn't like the minority.
Okay, so the second...
So you had a system that was set up against them, had to be remedied. That was the theory.
It's almost impossible to apply logic to this because it's based on, obviously, racial hostility and political calculation. It's not based on any principle of justice. But I'll just
hold on. That is justice. Fairness under law, meaning that just because this person is brown doesn't mean you can treat him like a dog.
Oh my gosh, of course not.
But that's what it was supposed to remedy.
Just because this person is any color, you should never punish someone for how he was born.
But the country did.
Of course, and that ended in 1965.
No, it didn't.
Okay, well, let me ask you a couple questions then. If whites become the minority, which I keep reading is going to happen really soon, should they be beneficiaries of affirmative action?
If they start to get discriminated against.
Okay, so would you...
On the basis of that.
Well, they're already discriminated against.
Already happening.
In college admissions, in hiring, both federal and private sector. Whites are, I just saw this the other day, I was kind of shocked by it. If you're to break out the country by ethnicity, which I hate, I don't think we should count by race. I think we should address people as they were created by God, which is as individuals.
That's fine as long as everybody's getting a fair shake.
Whites are not in the top 5 for income in the United States right now. Nigerians, on average, make more than whites. So if you're talking about a world that is black and white and the whites have some sort of entrenched privilege and are beneficiaries of all this stuff, you're really talking about a country that's generations gone. And so in the current country, virtually every immigrant group has a higher income than native-born whites. So I'm not mad about that. I'm just saying that's not a basis upon which to discriminate against whites. And if you continue to, with those numbers in hand, and those are public numbers from the Labor Department, then you're really doing this because you hate whites. And I don't want to live in a country where we punish people because the people in charge don't like their skin color. Because we've lived in that country before, and I don't want to live in it again.
100% accurate from Tucker's perspective. Chris Cuomo is like, he's tried to put, and again, I haven't really watched him much. Like, I know he's been on Patrick Bet David a few times. I don't find Chris Cuomo to be overly an interesting person, regardless of what his opinions are. I just don't. I find him to be very disingenuous. I find him to be a phony, and I don't really take a lot of. I don't have a lot of value in anything the man says. So therefore, even when he is in these situations, I find it to be very boring. Now Tucker is a little bit of a different situation because Tucker actually will challenge and he will bring up points and he'll push back and things like that. And so yeah, I mean, everything that comes out of Chris Cuomo's mouth is coming from a place of fear. He's coming from a place of fear, just like this right here. And I've pulled this up before, right here. So we've got this right here. It's this article from Sweet Baby Inc. Right here, the president of Sweet Baby Inc. right here.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen to them if they don't give you what you want. Every word that comes out of Chris Cuomo's mouth is operating off of that logic right there. Every word that comes out of his mouth seems like I'm worried about what they're going to do to me if I actually say anything that's truthful. That's what it feels like from my perspective. But legalize adulthood for a proper 199. Holy crap, legalize adulthood. Mad lad, legalize adulthood. Why am I buffering? I better not be buffering on YouTube's end. Jeremy, good to see you getting a shout out from Biden at the State of the Union speech when he talked about supporting the transgender Afghan elderly children. Oops, gotta go. Dave Rubin on line 1. Trump 2024, baby. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Legalize Adulthood. Oh, man. I hope I'm not buffering. Man, we finally got peak viewership here, and now I'm getting an error message on the YouTube end. So I did mention this the other day that we are moving out of G&G HQ here in Orlando. There's a couple of reasons for that. The number one reason is Spectrum Internet. Spectrum Internet is the worst internet I have ever had in my entire life. Spectrum Internet is horrible. All right. It is the worst thing I've ever had. If you have Spectrum and you have any other, opportunity for internet, go with it. Okay. I would honestly, like, if there was a Biden internet provider, if it was a Joe Biden internet, I would almost tell you to go with a Biden internet provider over Spectrum. Spectrum is awful. But obviously, because I've been here in Orlando for, we've been here for a little over a year with G&G HQ, and I've been traveling back and forth because Pensacola is where I live, and I've been back and forth. So now I have fiber in Pensacola, and that's going to be helpful. But we've got some other stuff we're doing here in Orlando. So, but that is happening very soon. But yeah, I fucking hate Spectrum Internet. I despise it. So yes, finally got fiber in Pensacola. So I'm looking forward to that. But thank you. And Legalize Adulthood with 20 gifted memberships. Holy shit, man. What is going on with you? You mad lad. You mad lad indeed. Holy crap. Thank you, Legalize Adulthood. Okay, we do have to talk about what happened at the Oscars last night. So at the Oscars, let's see. Oh, man. There it is. Okay. At the Oscars last night, it's the Hollywood shit show. Of course it is. We all know what Hollywood's all about. Hollywood really despises anyone that doesn't line up with their narrative. And magically, I didn't watch all of it, but I was interested to see what would happen with Oppenheimer. I was very interested to see what would happen with Oppenheimer. And obviously, I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan, and Oppenheimer dominated, which I was very happy to see. I don't think there was a lot of shots at Trump throughout the night. Correct me if I'm wrong for anyone that watched. Prior to what Jimmy Kimmel did. So prior to what Jimmy Kimmel did, was there any real shots at President Trump? Correct me if I'm wrong. Does anybody know prior to the Kimmel stuff, was there any shots at President Trump? That's what I want to know. Because I don't think there was. And then suddenly, and this is how Trump is a fucking genius, okay? He is the puppet master. Trump is the puppet master. So Hollywood has made this massive point of like, man, we lost like 400 viewers because of that blip that we had. Hopefully everybody gets to come back in here. Fuck you, Spectrum Internet, by the way. Fuck you forever, Spectrum Internet. I hate you. But hopefully everybody will make their way back in here. So anyway, the Oscars happened. Not a lot of pot shots at Trump, but we all know that Hollywood hates Trump. They despise Trump. And Trump sends a Truth Social message out. And right on cue, Jimmy Kimmel took the bait. He took the bait and he walked right into it. He couldn't help himself. Jimmy Kimmel read Trump's tweet live on the Oscars because Trump wanted him to. He wanted him to. So here we go right here.
I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed-up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again. Okay, now, see if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth.
Jimmy took it. Jimmy took the bait. He couldn't help himself. Kimmel could not help himself. Trump clowned you, bro. Trump did that so that you would read it live in front of everyone so that he could be the center of the room. And you walked right into it. You walked right into it. And here's the Truth Social tweet right here. This is it. This is it. Has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. Dude, Trump is fantastic. They walked right into it. Walked right into it. Now, I've got something I'm going to show you guys, all right? You might not have seen it, but you're going to see it here first, all right? This is going to be the first time you've ever seen it. But Disco Cobra just dropped a $100 super chat. It says, giving you more moolah for your move. So what are the details of moving? This is kind of like a streamer house, right? Not exactly, but a place for content creation. Have other locations. Going to do something else. Who all won awards? I only saw Godzilla and John Cena. Oppenheimer pretty much dominated the night. Oppenheimer, rightfully so, dominated the night. And Christopher Nolan won Best Director. Oppenheimer won Best Picture. Cillian Murphy won Best Actor. And Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor, all for Oppenheimer. They cleaned the house. In terms of the deets, it's just, look, we're still going to be here in Orlando. We're not necessarily going to have content creation house anymore, some things like that. I'll be in Pensacola. I've got everybody taken care of, though. And we're going to be focusing more on things like covering the theme parks, getting streaming done, things like that. So everybody's good. I've got everybody taken care of. So don't worry about that. You know, Krista's going to be here in Orlando. She's going to remain in Orlando. Steph is going to, because Stephanie has her family and she's going to move back to Texas. Krista's here in Orlando. Park hopping continues. She'll be streaming more, things like that. And I've got Krista set up where she will have fiber internet as well. So everybody is taken care of. Everybody's good to go. It's just a matter of me. I need to get back to Pensacola, back to my family, back to all that. So that's really all it comes down to. So I've got everybody covered on the team. Everybody's good. So no worries on that front. But you guys probably didn't see this. So I'm going to show this for the fair, because a lot of people have been talking about John Cena. All right. A lot of people have been talking about John Cena and what happened. Well, I've got the real footage of what happened with John Cena. I've got the real footage. Are you guys ready for the real footage of what happened last night with John Cena? Here we go. This is footage of John Cena. Hey. I mean, I guess now I can see why a lot of people were upset about John Cena. I can totally understand why. Probably bothered a lot of people in the audience. Probably upset them. I get it. You know, but hey, truth hurts sometimes. So there you go. Now, if you really want to talk about the John Cena thing, though, we can. And there is stuff to talk about. Okay, so John Cena did go out on stage and humiliated himself. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that this is like the humiliation ritual with Hollywood. And I think that there's something to that. I do think there's something to that. Look, I have never been a fan of John Cena, the professional wrestler. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I respect John Cena in terms of the fact that he was the top guy for so long, but I've never liked him as a professional wrestler. And then he did the whole the apology in Chinese or whatever, which was the cringiest thing I've ever seen. I think that John Cena is obsessed with becoming the next Rock. And I think he's probably willing to do whatever he can to get to that point. And I do think that there's something to him doing this to try to get to that point. Now, Andrew Tate has a good take on this. Let's listen to Andrew Tate.
He's just promoting a movie. I want to make something clear.
Hang on, let me turn the volume up here. Here we go.
I want to make something clear. I was saying this morning on Twitter how John Cena yesterday at the Oscars was doing his humiliation ritual to satisfy his gay paymasters. And everybody's saying, oh, maybe he's just promoting a movie. Maybe. Let me tell you something. I don't care what movie I'm in. You could not convince me to do that. You could not convince me to do anything fruity or weird. It doesn't matter what movie I'm in because there's no need. I can promote it other ways. I won't do it because my principles are too strong. So to say he's only promoting a movie is still agreeing with me. You're saying he's promoting his movie for money because he sold a soul to his gay paymaster.
Well, he was pretending to be an OnlyFans guy as the character of the movie and releasing OnlyFans content.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Andrew Tate. I agree with Top G right there. And it really was pretty embarrassing. Now, this isn't the first time John Cena's ever done something like this. I think he did something like this on like Total Divas or something like that, a show I never watched. What's interesting about this is that John Cena, so if you watch professional wrestling, you know that John Cena for the longest had an opportunity to turn heel. And turning heel means turning into a bad guy because his good guy shtick was kind of getting old and dated. And the industry and the business would have benefited if he would have turned heel. But he always said that he couldn't compromise who he was. Well, we're talking about a fucking character that you were playing in wrestling. And while I do respect that you had, some level of appreciation for your character, the fact that he would not turn heel because the morals of his character, his fake character that he had, his persona, his gimmick, it would have been better for the business. We all saw Hulk Hogan did it. Hulk Hogan did it, and it was the best thing ever for the business when he turned into a bad guy, and it made things interesting. So the fact that John Cena wouldn't turn heel in wrestling, in scripted wrestling, but he's willing to humiliate himself for Hollywood like that says everything you need to know about John Cena. I don't think John Cena's a good actor. I don't think that he's the type of person that could be the leading man in a big budget film. I just don't see it. I don't think he's ever going to be what he wants to be in terms of that, but I know that's what he's trying. He's definitely going for that. He's 1000% going for that. I just don't think that, I think he will flop miserably as time goes on. But do you know who's not going to flop, ladies and gentlemen? President Donald Trump. And look at this. Immediately following her election as co-chair of the RNC, Laura Trump and new chair Michael Whatley are firing an estimated 60 RNC staffers. Those being asked to resign include 5 members of the senior staff, and some vendor contracts are expected to be cut. Let's fucking go. Get these fucking pieces of shit out of there. I cannot wait. They are cleaning house, and it's a gorgeous thing. We then get this tweet from President Trump right here, and he says, "My first act as your president will be to close the border, drill, baby, drill, and free the January 6th hostages being wrongly in prison." That is directly from Donald Trump at 6:55 p.m. today. Donald Trump says this. That's a hell of a campaign promise right there. How can you not want to vote for that right there? How can you not want to vote for that right there? That is directly from President Trump on True Social. That is directly from President Trump. That's right there. That's the campaign right there. You just run that campaign. Shut the fuck up about the jab. Shut the fuck up about COVID. Shut up about COVID completely. President Trump, please. I say that with nothing but love for you and respect for you. Shut up about COVID forever. You never need. Please, can you do to COVID what the WWE did to Benoit, to Chris Benoit? Just eliminate it from existence, please. Please, Chris Benoit, COVID. Please, President Trump, Just never mention it again. And anytime there's any mention of it, blur it out. Do whatever you got to do. Please, just get it gone. But that's a hell of a campaign promise right there. And that's what America wants. That's what your supporters want to hear. Right there is exactly what your supporters want to hear. You're shoring up the base, and you're actually getting normies to wake up to that too, because especially with everything going on with the border. So absolutely fantastic from Trump. So I loved seeing that from him. That was really, really good. And I'm glad. Very, very glad that he said that. That was fantastic. Veronit with 20 says towards the move. Well, thank you, Veronit. I appreciate that. CG87343. So she's just a typical Southern accent. She just has a typical Southern accent. As a native Alabamian, I heard this all the time. Nothing new. Her look is also no different than a lot of Southern women, at least in my opinion. You're 1,000% right. We're talking about the girl from earlier. I already forgot her name. What's her name? The girl that everybody's talking about. I'll get her name here in just a minute. I'm looking it up right now. I already forgot it. I just followed her earlier too. Everybody's talking about her though. Everybody's going crazy over what's her name? Hannah Barron. Hannah Barron. Yes. Everybody's going crazy over Hannah Barron, and rightfully so. I mean, but yeah, if you grew up, she is from Alabama. If you grew up in Alabama, like, yeah, that's Southern chicks are awesome, man. No doubt about that. Let's see. The Squid says, I think it's funny that the unhinged person on Twitter is saying that liking a tomboy makes you gay. Guess I'm gay then. That lady is a unicorn in the dating market. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying that about her. Robert Bro Kerr says, Jeremy, your channel is dying, and happy birthday month. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Jeremy forgot his favorite cousin's name. Munchie Ninja. Candace Owens kicked Cuomo's ass. Did she? She was on with Patrick Bet-David and Cuomo. I didn't see it, but I've heard some people talking about it. So that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. Yokozuna says, don't worry, Jeremy, you're gay. Zong Zina says, let's see. You see my heel turn last night? That's Jean Zina says, well, my heel wasn't the only thing turning last night. Ministry of Wrong Things says, Miss Bo Toxic is just farming interactions. Any straight dude out there would love to break the sound barrier on Hannah's cheeks. Hail the 199. Yeah, I mean, these people are crazy, man. Again, I saw someone tweet out the other day that like Elon ruined Twitter because of with monetization and everything like that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree at all. I think we're in a weird kind of learning phase of like what Twitter's going to look like, but ultimately I don't think Twitter's ruined. I think Twitter was always ruined. I think Twitter's always been a shit platform. I've never been a fan of Twitter as a platform, but where we are now, I think it's much better than it was. It's still not perfect by any means, but I don't think it's ruined. I think putting us in the position for where we need to go with going into the election and everything like that. No, man, Twitter's a much better place than it used to be. There's no doubt about that. But do you know who's not in a good place? That would be President Biden, Joe Biden. All right. Like the duality of man. Okay. And this is really important to break this down. And I'm looking at this situation and I'm asking myself, how are we even in this position to begin with? Who is still questioning any of this? Look at this. This right here puts it in, if you've ever seen it put in perspective more, let me know, because this puts it all in perspective right here.
You use the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
So you got President Trump meeting with the family of Laken Riley, consoling them. You see them here with the MAGA hat on. You've got Biden apologizing to the alleged killer. I don't know if there's ever been a clear answer in the history of humanity as to who you should be supporting in this upcoming election. That is just mind-boggling to me. If that doesn't frustrate you beyond belief, I don't know what does. This one kind of threw me off. Okay, this one kind of threw me off. Now this was from a few days ago. Check this out. Republican VP pick Tim Scott up 11 points. Kristi Noem second, Vivek Ramaswamy third. I am shocked that Tim Scott is the leading person right now. Now again, it's just a small, sample size poll, so I'm not saying that that's the but that is crazy to me. Is Drunk 3PO in the chat? What up, Drunk 3PO? That is mind-boggling to me. I cannot believe that. Again, I have nothing against Tim Scott. I don't want him as VP. I don't think he would make a great VP. I would much rather have Vivek or Kristi Noem. I know a lot of people have kind of been down on like Kristi Noem being VP, but but Tim Scott, that's weird, man. I don't know where that momentum's coming from. Maybe it's just because of President Trump's recent remarks about Tim Scott, maybe. Maybe, I'm not sure. It's just, let's see, hang on. No, I don't want that one. So also, now you guys know I've been talking about a lot of, stuff going on with our website, geeksandgamers.com, and I appreciate you guys. And we'll have a place where you can directly support us over there that will help us move forward. For now, your support on all of these platforms helps immensely, so thank you. But we got the news that Deadspin has been shut down. Now, if you remember, November of 2023, the reporter at Deadspin accused a 9-year-old football fan of wearing blackface. And now here in March of 2024, Deadspin has been sold and the entire staff has been fired. I would say rest in peace, Deadspin, but I wouldn't mean it. So burn in hell, Deadspin, and all of their horrible staff. So that is a beautiful thing. I'm really happy that Deadspin is finally going away. So Deadspin's a garbage tier site, and we're seeing a lot of that, man. We're seeing a lot of these. Like I retweeted this one. So this article right here is taking up for Sweet Baby Inc. If you've been watching my Geeks and Gamers videos, you'll see that I've been covering the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff. And this person wrote an article accusing Valve and Discord of allowing a harassment campaign against Sweet Baby Inc. And this is the person that wrote the article. This is who wrote the article for the game dev website. Has pronouns, by the way, because, of course, pronouns in bio every single time right there. So all of these websites, all of these entertainment websites, these left-wing outlets, they're all going down. They're all going down. And in his tweet, I did respond to his tweet right here. Where did I respond? Right here. That was my response. Hey, little buddy, have you considered crying about it? I got that from Jack Posobiec. I got that from Jack. That is such a good tweet to respond to these pronoun people. That is fantastic. Hey, little buddy, have you considered crying about it? Oh, it's so good. I love it. I encourage all of you to get this picture. Save this picture and you reuse it every time. It will make them so mad on so many different levels. Oh, man. You got to love it. You got to love it. I love seeing these clowns cry and going crazy. Oh, man. But yeah, it's just between these these websites going away with what's happening with the RNC, the momentum that Trump is building. Everything is moving in a hella good direction right now. But we got to stay the course, man. We've got to stay the course. We cannot slow down. We cannot, take our eyes off the prize. We have got to stay focused. Absolutely have to stay focused. Because, again, if you think that the left is just going to sit by and let these things happen, I got news for you. That's not. I mean, we are heading for a complete and total info war. It would be interesting if somebody actually named their website Info War, because that would kind of symbolize what's going on. Info war, meaning like an information war. I guarantee you, if someone named their website Info War and then they were like a charismatic personality and they started to have a really big impact, I guarantee you that the powers that be would do anything they could to silence that person. I guess we'll never find out. But I guarantee you, if someone did come up with the name InfoWars and they were like really they had a dynamic personality and they were uncovering all this stuff with the deep state and, they were talking about frogs being gay, I guarantee you, the powers that be would try to do anything to silence this person. They would. That's what I think. Now look at this. This is an interesting story right here. Remember this story, ladies and gentlemen? Remember this story? Let me see if I can move that screen over a little bit. Look at there. Former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson testified that Trump physically assaulted the Secret Service and lunged for the steering wheel when his driver refused to take him to the Capitol on J6. Well, that same driver testified to the J6 committee that this never happened, and they buried his statement until now. The J6 committee has been exposed. They hid the evidence to spin a narrative. The whole thing is a fraud. You mean to tell me that President Trump didn't do like a backflip over the seat in the Beast limo? He didn't do like this ninja John Wick backflip, did like all of this stuff to like tie up the Secret Service members that are highly trained and then lunge at the driver to turn him around. You're telling me none of that happened? Gosh, I could have swore like I just saw like Trump being like John Wick all of a sudden and just battling all of these Secret Service agents, hand-to-hand combat, and then lunging at the wheel. The raid scene. The raid 2 scene. But yes, so again, I'm not saying that all women are liars, but I'm saying that when women talk about things President Trump has done to them, I'm pretty sure they're all liars. That's what I'm saying. All right. It's just insanity, man. Like everybody that heard this happen, everybody that heard that testimony knew. They knew that she was lying through her fucking teeth. And they celebrated her for like 24 hours. They celebrated her testimony. They were talking about how dangerous President Trump was. But then they saw like, wait a minute, this is so stupid. This is not even believable, even to like the Keith Olbermanns of the world. Even the Keith Olbermanns of the world can't really buy into this story. So they just stopped talking about it completely. They just stopped talking about it. It just went away. Swig of water to the working man. So my question is she going to be held accountable? Is she going to be held accountable for this? And this is the thing about President Trump, man, because I know a lot of people are going to say like, well, hey, once President Trump gets back in office, he's going to take care of stuff like this. But it's like, he's got so many more pressing matters, dude. Like, if he was the selfish, arrogant person that so many people claimed he would be, then he would get back in office and worry about stuff like this. But he's not. He's going to be worried about fixing the country, fixing immigration, and fixing our relationships around the world, fixing our military. That's what he's going to be focused on. He's not going to go after small fry bullshit like this. Now, people within his team might, but I don't think he's going to worry about shit like this. Vic freaking Whiplash is in the chat though, and he just dropped 20 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go, Vic Whiplash. Thank you, brother. And I see we got 350 people on Rumble. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting on Rumble. You are the best. And that's the thing about Trump, man. Like you could say I'm glad that I am very confident. I'm very confident that we're building the right system in order for Trump to have as fair of a chance as he can in November. Because if you want to call a spade, we're already dealing with election interference all over the place right now. I mean, everything they're putting Trump through, all of the hoops he's having to jump through, like he's already dealing with it. So it's not a question of like once we get to November, or is there going to be? There already has been. He's already dealing with bullshit all over the place. So it's not even a question of like everything they've done to this point. Absolutely. They have already interfered in a massive way. The problem is they've underestimated Trump. But again, when you see stuff like this, and this is what gives me hope, with a story right here. Again, I just talked about this a few minutes ago, but you know, Laura Trump being the co-chair of the RNC, and they're already firing an estimated 60 RNC staffers. They're already cleaning the house. They're already starting it. And you've got people like Vivek, who has, I think, done a great job of building up his name and his loyalty to Trump. And it's just like, think about this. I think that America and just people in general are very forgiving when people are genuine. I do think that. I think that they're very forgiving when people are genuine. But when people aren't genuine, they see right through you. And I'm making a point to bring up Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis could have, even through all the bullshit in the campaign, DeSantis, once it was over, if he would have done what Vivek has done and been like, hey, a lot of mud was sling, a lot of things were said, a lot of shots were taken, we're men, and I lost to the better man. The people decided that President Trump was the man that they wanted, and rightfully so. And now I'm putting down all of, the beef, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to make America great again, and I'm willing to do whatever President Trump needs. If he does that, everybody's like, hell yeah, man, let's go. Let's put it all behind us, and let's move forward. He still acted like a little bitty child. He's acted like, I'm going to run back to Florida, and I'm going to be governor, and you're not going to talk to me, President Trump. Like, he's so pitiful, dude. He's so pitiful. And again, like, the fact that he has changed, though, he has changed, but not for the better. He's changed for the worse. And it just shows that he was completely compromised through the whole process. DeSantis was compromised. There are still people out there that I guess they believe DeSantis was still the better man for the job, okay? Maybe they still believe in Santa Claus too, okay? And more power to him. But they're still crying every day about DeSantis. He was a better candidate. He should have been... Dude, he was literally the worst candidate. Statistically speaking, DeSantis was the worst candidate. DeSantis was worse than Nikki Haley. That is a fact. Because DeSantis started out like polling near Donald Trump when this all started. He lost all of it. He lost every bit of it. Like, he's just not someone that lost. He's, statistically speaking, he was the worst candidate. He lost all of his support, and he had a lot of it. And he lost every single bit of it. Whereas, Vivek actually went from 0 to about 7 or 8%. Nikki Haley, as terrible as she was, did anybody think Nikki Haley was even going to get like any votes? She actually won a couple of states. DeSantis won nothing. DeSantis was, statistically speaking, the worst candidate this year, and it wasn't even close. So all the DeSantis fans out there still crying about DeSantis, you need to get with reality at this point in time. You need to wake up to reality, because Ron DeSantis was, statistically speaking, the worst candidate, and it's not even close. I'd actually like to talk to one of these clowns like Ben Shapiro or Dave Rubin. I don't know if I'd talk to Dave Rubin. He'd probably just, I don't know. I don't want to say anything inappropriate. Like Dave Rubin would just try to suck my dick or something like that. I don't think that's appropriate for me to say That would just be disrespectful to say Dave Rubin would just be interested in sucking my dick. So I don't want to say that. That would be really bad. So I'm not going to say that. But yeah, like I would, maybe talk to Jeremy Boring or Ben Shapiro, one of the guys that supports DeSantis that don't want to suck my dick. I'd rather talk to one of those guys. But yeah, like I would like to say, like, how do you, you're sitting here today telling me that you think DeSantis was the best candidate. Statistically speaking, he was the worst candidate. You realize that? How do you say that statistically speaking, he was the worst candidate? How do you say that he's the best? Explain that to me. Please, I'm waiting. And they'll be like, well, his policy, I don't give a shit about his policy. His policy in Florida was great. That's why he won re-election by record numbers. But once he jumped into the ring on the national stage, he went from like 40% to like 5%. Explain that to me if he's the best candidate. Explain it. Make it make sense. And they can't. Vic Whiplash, statistically speaking, is a mother effing G because he just dropped 20 more gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. He's whiplashing the chat. Legalize adult over 10 says Dave Rubin wanted to know, do you prefer unsweetened tea or southern sweet tea? I feel like there's a joke somewhere. I'm from the South, man. Sweet tea all the way, okay? Sweet tea all the way. Come on. And I bet Hannah Barron prefers sweet tea as well because she's an Alabama girl. Roll Tide. And that's the big question. Is Hannah Barron an Alabama fan or an Auburn fan? That's what we need to figure out. I need to know. Can somebody find out? Because that's the make or break right there. Okay? Dude, look at this. Look at this. Shout out to Ripa. This is crazy. This damn thing is on pace to break ISOM's $1 million record. Looks like there will be a stream tonight. Give me a bit. Yaira is going to break ISOM's $1 million record in, I think ISOM broke it $1 million in 30 hours. Yaira is going to probably break that record. Shout out to young Ripa, man. I'm so proud of him. It's just incredible what he has done with the Ripaverse. And I know for a fact, and this is why, please go support him. But, I know for a fact that if I ever needed anything, that dude would have my back in a fucking heartbeat. I know that for a fact. And, he knows that same goes with me. I'll never forget the conversation me and him had before his first book launched. And I told him, I'm like, bro, I didn't think it was going to do $4 million or whatever it did. But, I was like, dude, this is going to be a huge success. And he was just like, man, if we can just hit this number. And they weren't big numbers compared to where he's at now. And to see how far this thing has come. And I know that Ripa's just he's still just the same dude I knew, but he's really kind of it's really humbling to watch what they've created. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. It's good stuff indeed, man. Fucking $1 million in what's it going to hit 12 hours is going to hit $1 million or something like that. I mean, let me see where it's at right now. I may have to go to the queue line. So, all right, I'm in the queue line right now. So let's see where we're at. It is amazing that they've been able to. All right, so we're about to go in. Let's see here. And $905,000, man. Look at that. $905,000 in what? When did it launch? 12 hours? Is it 10 or 12 hours? That's insane, man. Oh my gosh. That's just crazy. So shout out to him and the whole team, man. Very, very happy to see that. And that's how you do it, man. We're having an impact all across. Dude, did you see this, by the way? This is the type of shit that's going on. Things are happening all over the place right now. And it's kind of crazy. Let me go to my history and see if I can find it. History. Look who was on with Piers Morgan today. Look at this shit. Yeah, Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, my boys, hanging out with Piers Morgan, talking about Hollywood, the disaster known as Hollywood. It's fucking insane, man. I mean, that's crazy. He brings them on, and he's like, he introduced, like, how did he introduce them? I think he introduced them here. How do you?
Enough. I like what they've done there. Of woke Hollywood. Joining me to debate the biggest night in Hollywood is my Oscar super PAC, Esther Krakow and Ava Santina, and two titans of the YouTube movie community, the Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic. Well, we are honoured to have you two gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed.
That's amazing. Two titans of the YouTube movie world. Let's go. Y'all want to watch it? We'll watch it. Fuck it, let's go.
To have you two ladies here, my resident Barbies. Let me start Critical Drinker, if I may, with you. So this might be heresy, but I absolutely loathed everything about Barbie. I loathed what it stood for. I loathed what it was. I tried to wade through it and found it unwatchable, man-bashing tosh. But I also found Oppenheimer, and this might be heresy, a beautifully made film, brilliantly acted film, but way too long and bordering on boring. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that's pretty much par for the course when it comes to Christopher Nolan movies, but...
Oh, Drinker, them some fighting words right there. Although, listen, I liked Oppenheimer a lot. I do think it was a little long. I thought the sex scene was a little unnecessary. And I thought Godzilla Minus One was the best film of the year, to be fair. All right. Godzilla Minus One was the best film of the year. That was my favorite movie of the year. And Godzilla Minus One should have been nominated and should have won the Oscar for best film of the year.
It seems like it's just a sign of the times in that perhaps if Oppenheimer had been released in a different year when there was stronger competition, it might not have fared so well. But it just seems like that was really what it was up against. You know, it was a sign of the low quality, the low bar that Hollywood had set for itself last year, that Oppenheimer really was the best of the bunch. Yeah, it probably was a bit too long and possibly a bit too self-indulgent in places, but it was not a great year for movies. And so I think the Oscars this year, it's probably an example of playing it safe and picking the logical choice, because it was pretty much the best that we got last year.
And Nerdrotic, I mean, if you extend the safety thing to the event itself, you know, if you compare it to when Ricky Gervais hosted the Globus, for example, and spray gunned everybody. You know, Jimmy Kimmel was pretty tame, I thought. The show itself was fine, but I found having 5 previous winners coming up for all the main categories and paying unctuous homage to the new winners and the candidates, the nominees, I found all that got very, very nauseating quite quickly.
I agree with Piers.
And it kind of said to me that with that and the fact that no one dares make any speeches now which are remotely political, with one exception, I think, of a director, other than that, everybody stayed on safe script. It's just, again, the Oscars have got very safe and, I would argue, boring.
Yeah, that's the worst criticism I have for him. It was just a slog. And the 5 actors coming out, and it was so pretentious and cringe. I couldn't get through it, and I had to actually stop watching it at some point. And it's really hard for Hollywood to fight this giant disconnect they have with their audience when you come out and do something like that. But that, honestly, least offensive thing they've done in a while, and it's clear that they had a talking to. There was, because this is it's a pretty hyper political year, and for them to be quiet was definitely the producers saying tone it down until the end, when they completely blew it and told half their audience that to F off anyway, which is the biggest problem Hollywood has, and they just don't understand to this day that their disconnect.
Gary is 1,000% trying not to cuss. I can tell you that for a fact. Gary is trying not to cuss.
Is something that it's never mentioned in the press. It's never mentioned anywhere, really, with the audience and how many people they've driven away. I think that, I don't know if the ratings are going to be great for this. I think they'll be minimal, but it was just boring and pretentious, and I think it's a dying old model. It's a 20th century model that's just had its time.
Right. Ava, I mean, Barbie getting flatlined by a movie about an atomic bomb, I found personally quite satisfying. And also the fact that the biggest star of the night connected to Barbie was, of course, Ken.
I have not seen Barbie. Now, why have I not seen Barbie? The same reason that I don't know what to say when somebody asks me for my sign, because I'm not a gay man or a woman. Because I think that's the only type of person that should go see the Barbie movie, and they will probably enjoy it. A gay man or a woman would probably love the Barbie movie. I have heard I've heard some different takes on the Barbie movie, and I'm like, most people think it's feminist propaganda. Most people do. I just can't, like, but the whole point is like, you made a woman's property that was geared for women. That's what you're supposed to do. It's a female property that was made for women. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, it didn't need to be the feminist propaganda particularly, but I haven't seen the movie. But yeah, it's for gay men and women.
Ryan Gosling, I thought he did the best show with his little performance, is brilliant, but mainly because he has Slash next to him, not Barbie. You know, you replace Dumb as a Rock Barbie with Slash, one of the great guitar heroes of all time. Suddenly the whole thing works, right? And I'm seeing a sequel which will be called simply Ken, and will have dozens of other Kens who are all brilliantly talented and world leaders in all the things that they do. And there'll be one woman, a token Barbie, who's going to be dumb and sits in the corner, and we just laugh at women for the entire 2 hours. How do you think that would go down?
Well, I'm sure that a lot of women will go to watch that, and I'm sure that it will make a lot of very clever movie execs a lot of money. But look, you know, I don't really understand why you think I love Barbie or want to speak up for it. You know, what I do care about is...
Do you hate Barbie?
What I do care about is that Greta Gerwig is routinely looked over. I mean, she made Little Women a few years ago, and that should have been Oscar. That should have been Oscar nominated because it was a fantastic production. Look, it goes to.
Who's this? This chick just says she's terrible. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Show that women are left out of the conversation because a lot of the time men don't think that it's worth their time to watch a quote-unquote women's film. And I mean, it was enjoyed by women all over the world.
If women produce good content, they'll get all the accolades. I don't understand this.
Holy shit. Can we get her on Friday Night Tights? Holy shit. I have not watched this all. I saw the opening part with Gary and Drinker. I've not watched this whole thing.
Obsession with Barbie, because Barbie as a character is quite unlikable. She's a complete bitch. She's a rude cow. She treats Ken horribly. I don't understand why you're having this horrible plastic person being kind of the echelon or the upper echelon of the ultimate woman. It's ridiculous. So apart from the fact that she's a horrible character, the film was trash. They spent more money on the marketing than the actual content production, which shows a lot. You know, this idea that women always have to be nominated or you always have to have some diverse category to show that there's progress is ridiculous. This is why Hollywood has suffered so much. Hollywood has had bad film years. In 2001, when Halle Berry won the Oscar, it was a pretty slow film year. But you couldn't argue that the content was terrible. Now the content is terrible because you can't make anything that you want to, because everything has to have some diversity push.
And even when you do, I want to bring in critical drinker again, because it seems to me
so this chick right here is just like 3v1 right now. Was she supposed to be on this chick's side? 'Cause now it's like 3v1.
Movie I've most enjoyed going to the movies to watch was Top Gun Maverick. Now, I'm old enough to remember the first one, which I absolutely loved. And rather like The Godfather, the sequel more than lived up to the hype and was as good, if not better, than the first one. But I took two of my sons, rite of passage. We ended up punching the air, shouting. It was like one of the best afternoons out we'd had in a long time. A big cinema, watching it in all its glory. And that didn't win Best Picture. And I'm like, well, why doesn't a movie like that win Best Picture? Why don't you just, sometimes Hollywood, just sit back and go, we're going to give it to the film that actually most enthralled people. Not the one that preached to everyone, like Barbie, and tried to make everyone hate men, but actually, or one that was just so worthy, it almost ate itself in syrupy worthiness, like Oppenheimer.
But see, the thing I would say here, and, you know, I mean, I'm going to have a different take on this than Gary or Drinker, but, I mean, I do think Oppenheimer, outside of Godzilla -1, Oppenheimer made $900 million fucking dollars, and it had no business doing it. It did it because audiences kept going back because they were enthralled with it. Oppenheimer had no business making $900 million in terms of just the expectations of it. I didn't think it would make $500 million worldwide. It almost made $1 billion fucking dollars because of word of mouth. Whereas Barbie made it because it's Barbie, of course. Like it's Barbie. It's got these practical sets. It's got Margot Robbie. It's got Ryan Gosling. It had all the marketing and all of that. And Oppenheimer did pick up a little bit in the beginning because of the Barbenheimer meme for sure. But Godzilla -1 would be the argument. I don't know if either one of these guys bring it up. I know they both love Godzilla -1. But the argument is the Godzilla -1 is the true best film of the year. Outside of that, I think Oppenheimer's probably the most deserving outside of Godzilla.
Brilliantly made though it was, why not give it to a movie like Top Gun Maverick, as they used to give it to Rocky 1 or, The Godfather, these great classic films that stood the test of time?
I think the Academy traditionally looks down on these big pop culture, popcorn blockbuster type movies. And so they tend to get overlooked as not being worthy enough of an Oscar. And when you look at things like Rocky, as you gave an example, that was a low budget movie at the time. Sylvester Stallone was an unknown actor. And so it really was like this, million to one shot. There was a story associated with that. With something like Top Gun Maverick, fantastic movie, a great example of catering to your audience. Barbie is a great example of trying to cater to the female audience. It's very female oriented, obviously. Top Gun Maverick, the exact opposite, very much skewed towards a male audience. They understand what men are looking.
Somebody said, Jeremy, what other choices were there? Barbie and Oppenheimer were it. That would be Mission Impossible, which underperformed massively because of Oppenheimer. And I thought Mission Impossible was fantastic, but it underperformed, and Oppenheimer was one of the reasons why.
Looking for, they want to see the technology, the fighter jets, the awesome pilots doing what they do, the patriotism, the sort of pro-America stuff, all great stuff. It just understands exactly what the audience wants, and it gives it to them in spades. Is it an Oscar-worthy movie? Possibly not. Who cares? No one cares what the Oscars do anymore.
That's really interesting. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, also, let's talk about the host for a minute, Jimmy Kimmel and Ned Roddick, because I don't know, there were some moments. There was one joke he did that hasn't really been picked up, but it was aimed at the German actress who was up for one of the awards, and he said this.
Sandra Hüller, 2 movies. Sandra plays a woman on trial for murdering her husband in Anatomy of a Fall, and a Nazi housewife living next to Auschwitz in the zone of interest. And while these are very heavy subjects for American moviegoers, in Sandra's native Germany, they're called rom-coms.
I got to say, I thought that really missed the mark for me. And she looked very awkward and embarrassed by that. Am I wrong to be thinking that was actually pretty unacceptably offensive?
I don't worry so much about offense as Jimmy Kimmel not being funny at
Thank
all.
you, Gary.
I think his presence offends me as he pretends to be a comedian. As you said, Piers.
Piers, if you're asking Gary to be offended, you're asking the wrong guy. Gary's answer is 1,000%.
It's such a safe move to have him there. That one joke, I think his worst joke was at the end when he fell right into Trump's trap and read Trump roasting him.
Well, let's take a look. I tell you what, let's take a look at that, because actually that was a very interesting moment. So he actually gets a message that Trump has posted on social media about him, and he reads it out. Let's watch.
Has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be.
So Ned Roddick, I mean, yeah, all right, he's entitled to have a white back, but it felt a bit self-indulgent to me doing that.
Yeah, he even acknowledged it, and he went ahead and did it anyway after he was criminally unfunny the entire night. And he's just a safe pick. He hasn't been funny in years. He's one of the worst hosts I've ever seen. All we kept on seeing on Twitter was clips from Oscar shows 20 years ago, and people going, remember when the Oscars were good? Remember when things were funny? We are so far away from that. They are so far away from their peak ratings. And I understand that they want to be safe now after, helping divide our country, playing into it for so long, especially during some strife. And you brought up Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, it should win Best Picture. It saved Hollywood. There's a couple movies that saved Hollywood.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, 2019 had $9 billion films. Since then, they've had 6.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good point.
But would Barbie not fit into that? Because was Barbie not a Hollywood safety?
Well, Barbie and Oppenheimer
as
did
well?
very good box office. You can't deny that. I just hated the fact that millions and millions of women went out and had to hear the word patriarchy 11 times in a movie and were made to think all men are evil.
Well,
right?
no, look,
and I love the fact that last night
Look,
Ken has the last laugh. That just made me laugh.
Yeah, look, I don't like white.
It was funny.
It had
right?
success in the year of the
white
fly.
The
feminism
biggest standout star last night was Ken, right? And Barbie is sat there like a grinning doll, doing nothing, winning nothing. Poor old Margot Robbie.
He's
All right,
not
poor old Margot.
wrong.
She's made gazillions out of producing it. Well done, Margot. I think she's great. Love her personally. Great actress. But the Barbie play out last night was Ken's the ultimate winner. It's all about Ken.
Yeah, but it's...
I will say, because there has been some debate about the Barbie movie, about, I guess, it being self-aware, I think. And the only interest I have in Barbie is for me to see it, to see if I, do I agree that it is self-aware? On the outside, like being knowing about Hollywood, I find it to be almost impossible that Barbie was self-aware with what they were doing. I find that to be incredibly, almost impossible for Barbie to not only, so the argument said it was self-aware, like it was meaning to take a stand against these points or whatever, and it not truly was feminist propaganda. I can't see that at all.
It's not even, it's not the sort of feminism that we engage in regularly, is it? It's sort of white feminism, white rich person feminism.
Well, talking about,
okay.
How would you have felt if a naked woman had come on stage last night, clutching a little thing over her genitalia, and the whole joke was about her fact that she was topless and semi-naked? Because we saw John Cena doing it, right?
I would have called the police because clearly that's a mentally unwell person.
Now, if that had been a woman, and I'd said, wow, she looks hot, you would have gone, you disgusting,
Yeah, exactly. Like, if a woman would have done this, like, hey, I vote for Sydney Sweeney to do this next year. Can we have that? Can we have Sydney Sweeney do this next year, Hollywood?
Defying pig, how dare you? Why are we not saying the same thing here?
I have to say that actually does make me feel quite uncomfortable. but
does it?
You know, yeah, it does actually. Yeah, but do we not? Was this not a thing of the early 2000s? Were we not doing this all the time? I mean, women were naked on page 3 in our newspapers.
I thought we'd all moved on. This was the whole point.
Well, but you know, men are having their moments.
So women can drool and a naked
men are
rat.
having their moments.
We can regress.
No, the truth is, Esther, the truth is that women have had it both ways. I'm sorry, as a breed, you've had this with stuff like with the objectifying. Well, you're a breed, yeah. With the objectifying,
I'm not gonna let that go.
with the objectifying debate of nudity, the way that women think it's absolutely fine to drool over semi-naked, naked blokes, right, in Hollywood or whatever it may be. But the moment a man does it over a woman, they have to be cancelled, expunged and arrested.
I completely disagree with that because all of the Sydney Sweeney narrative over the past week has been, oh my God, this woman is so beautiful. What is not acceptable is when men are like, I would like to do awful things to that woman. That's the sort of narrative
all the time with women.
See, the thing is, women claim to.
Poldark, remember Poldark? Every time a new series of Poldark came out, there would be Aidan Turner with the kids off, and women going, what I'd do to Aidan Turner. Yeah. And we're all supposed to go, well, that's great.
Because it's
you know
not
why we say great?
threatening.
Because men don't care.
Because it's not threatening, is it?
You can't have it both ways. With the whole Sydney Sweeney thing, yes, it's because she had her boobs out and she looked like she was auditioning to be a wet nurse. But the point, the thing is, you can't have it because there were some men that were objectifying her, but everyone was celebrating it. But somehow, when it comes to men, it's basically a form of revenge. Women don't want to say it, but seeing men objectifying men or treating men in the dehumanizing way you don't want to see women being treated as, it's seen as a form of revenge.
By the way,
but you got away with it.
But
for
here's
ages,
the
so
secret, Esther: men don't care. If women want to objectify me, objectify away. You'll make my day.
I could never do that, Piers.
And
That's a hate crime.
most women I know, whether they want to admit it or not, like being objectified.
She's
if they're
awesome.
Looking great.
She
they
is
like
awesome.
Men to go, wow.
But it's context, isn't there? There's context to that.
Really? What's the context?
Well, because if you're out and about and someone, is objectifying you in a nice way, then that's great.
What's positive objectivity?
How do you feel if a builder wolf whistles at you? How do you feel?
Fine with that.
Exactly.
that's positive.
When has any woman in history ever been genuinely upset by a bunch of builders wolf
You don't want to feel threatened by a man, right?
I agree. No, I agree.
If it was late at night and then a man is wolf whistling at you,
I'm talking about purely the objectification debate. Let me bring the guys back in who are being objectified by their absence from this debate right now. Let me talk to you, Critical Drinker, about Robert Downey Jr. and a quip that Jimmy Kimmel made about his drug taking.
Oh, yeah.
This is the highest point of Robert Downey Jr.'s long and illustrious career.
Wait, is he... So Piers is asking the drinker about the Robert Downey Jr.'s drug addiction when he's got Gary there.
Well, one of the highest points. But Robert has been a... Was that too on the nose, or was that a drug motion you made?
He then made a very odd joke about whether he had a rectangular penis. It was all very bizarre. But Downey Jr. didn't look very amused by that. And I'm not surprised, really. If you've come back from drug addiction, and this is your greatest moment as an actor, your first Oscar, do you really want a guy cracking jokes about your drug taking?
Damn, that would have been a perfect Gary question.
Robert's trying to laugh it off there, and hopefully they were going to move on quickly. But it's probably just another example of Jimmy falling on his arse as a comedian and as a host. Like, that was a poorly judged joke. It didn't really land. You could tell people weren't really loving it, and it just felt like a bit mean-spirited considering, this was Robert winning an Oscar that night. So, yeah, poorly judged. I wouldn't have done it. Didn't feel necessary, and it wasn't funny in the first place.
No, Drotti, just generally about the Oscars. We've touched on this, but I remember watching them when I was young, when David Niven might host it, or Billy Crystal, or whatever. It always felt incredibly glamorous. One thing that struck me last night, I never once felt like I was watching a glamorous event. It was almost like the magic had slightly disappeared from the room, perhaps never to come back. I mean, is it that we know too much about these people now, that social media...
Yeah, I just want to point something out, okay? We are winning, bros. Gary sitting there with a bunch of fucking action figures behind him and a Batman signal is on Piers Morgan. It's the greatest shit ever. Gary's sitting there with a bunch of action figures behind him. This is amazing.
It was drained any of the mystique out of Hollywood stars. What is it that's taken the magic away?
Oh, I think you hit it right there. We know them now. These used to be an event, and this was the only time we saw these movie stars, and we didn't see them tweeting about whatever politics all day long. So it was true. There was a novelty there. There was an event here in America. It was called the Gay Super Bowl. It was an event that people would actually sit around. I remember sitting around with my family and my friends watching. As the first two Lord of the Rings films lost Best Picture, which they should have won. But that's when it was fun and things were good. As I said earlier, this is a 20th century model that I just think has had its time. And yeah, there are no movie stars anymore. There's no star that's going to fill the seats just based on their name. There used to be, but now it's the intellectual property, and that's even dying right now. So they're headed for a real tough time.
Yeah, I mean, who are the big movie stars? I mean, I would still say Tom Cruise is a bona fide movie star.
He's from a different era.
But I wouldn't call him one of the great actors. I think he's one of the great movie stars.
Oh, I wish I was there. Tom Cruise is a fucking fantastic actor, and he's a legitimate action legend, but he's also a phenomenal actor. I mean, come on, man. Les Grossman. Have you seen Jerry McFucking-Guire? Tom Cruise is a fucking great actor.
He's from a different era, but that's the thing.
Then I would say Ryan Reynolds and Margot Robbie. They get people to the
Ryan Reynolds is a movie star, and she is definitely a movie star.
I think the general thing is the sheen has worn off of Hollywood because we know them now, because they're so overexposed on social media. We know their politics. We know how they fundamentally look down on a lot of people, even if they don't feel like they are. So culturally, people have just disengaged.
You know who we don't know about? Who's given no television interview in 45 plus years? Jack Nicholson.
Well, exactly.
And the reason he doesn't is he refuses. I've tried everything. The reason he doesn't is that he believes it kills the mystique.
Yep,
People shouldn't see the real you.
I didn't know that about Jack Nicholson. I did not know that. That's actually phenomenal. He takes the professional wrestler approach, kind of like The Undertaker. You know, because The Undertaker didn't want to ever hurt the mystique of The Undertaker. So he never did like one of these shoot interviews while he was still wrestling. It's actually pretty phenomenal. I did not know that about Jack Nicholson, but now that you think about it, Jack Nicholson's one of the great actors, you know, of all time. And he's one of the biggest stars. And you don't really know. I don't know if I've ever seen an interview with him. That's actually fantastic. I'm about to look more into that. That's the template right there. That's the template.
See you at a sporting event or something. He goes to the Lakers. I'm often there looking at him, trying to book him across the court. But he doesn't believe in doing interviews about himself on television.
He's completely right.
We'll do print
when you
interviews,
say they're overexposed, they're not also underexposed, because the politics that they do give away is very controlled, and it is quite contrived.
Well, no, because because you have to look at it from this perspective. You are a movie star. You're worth millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't want to know your opinion on politics generally, because we don't live the same type of life.
No, but
they live in the top 1%. They can be advocating for whatever they are, but for us, it's condescending because wait, you play pretend on TV, and now you think you have extensive knowledge on politics.
I appreciate that when you're seeing someone who is living like a billionaire's lifestyle and they're talking about climate change, it's frustrating. But then if you look at someone like Angelina Jolie, who spends a lot of time with the UN, is that not more interesting?
We know you for playing pretend. We don't know you because you're a doctor or a chemist or anything.
Then you
like
get
that.
offered a platform, you know.
Well, but that's the thing. Don't abuse your platform by
my
thinking
problem
that
with that. Let me bring
Shut up, Piers,
into this debate, because I think my problem is it's fine if you want to use your platform as a movie star to opine about world events, fine. But what you can't be is deliberately, obviously excluding to ones that are just a little bit too uncomfortable for who your bosses might be. And I've really felt that this award season is that actually I don't want them pontificating about politics particularly at all. But it's been really noticeable, like I said earlier, that absolutely no star in Hollywood at any awards event has made any comment about the Israel-Hamas war. And that, to me, has been really noticeable. And then it makes me think, well, how genuine and sincere have been their previous pronouncements about political issues, like Donald Trump, like whatever it may be? If you're not going to go into the more difficult one, because it might harm your career in some way, because you see people getting cancelled, I think there's a real exposure of a virtue signaling mentality there.
I think so, yeah. With the Israel-Hamas thing, it's a much more divisive issue where people are generally split down the middle. If it's something like, I think Donald Trump is the worst president in history, whatever, that's a safe thing to say in Hollywood. Nobody in the industry is going to.
No, but that's my point. It's a safe thing to say in Hollywood, but it would be very divisive. I mean, I remember when I was at CNN debating gun control, for example, and it would get very, very heated and blew up a few times. But I would have big.
Didn't he debate gun control with Alex Jones? Didn't he? If I'm not mistaken, didn't he have a gun control argument with Alex Jones on CNN?
Hollywood stars who would agree to be interviewed and then cancel. I won't name them, because they say, look, Piers, I'd love to come on, but I would probably have to agree with you. And I'm a movie star, and a lot of my business is in Middle America, where they love guns, and I'm just not going to alienate half my audience. And I got that. I respected that. But what I find it hard to respect so much is that none of them are prepared to put their head over the parapet when it's a little bit too, controversial, potentially damaging to their careers.
Well, absolutely, yeah. And it's almost like they don't really care that much about any of this stuff. They want the superficial veneer of being concerned about these things and being virtuous, but only so far as it helps their career and it allows them to toe the party line in Hollywood. If it goes against that, they will drop that like a hot brick. Of course they will, because it doesn't help them then. It's about appearing to be good. It's not about actually doing anything good.
I think you've touched on a good point. Are they willing to make sacrifices for what they really believe in? And that's the thing. If you told all these celebrities virtue signaling about climate change, actually no more private jets for you, they would shut up tomorrow. They're not willing to sacrifice anything. Talk is cheap, and you never see it more.
But not just that, even with Israel Gaza, as Piers was talking about there, you look at Bella Hadid, and she's lost many modelling jobs because she has been explicitly pro-Palestine. So off the back of that, I think a lot of people are frightened, and that is cowardly.
Well, but this is the thing. So they have no convictions. So if you don't have any convictions about things that can actually cost you, why do you talk about anything else? Shut up.
I do think there's a point there.
Thank you.
I heard it as we started.
No.
I just think the smart ones, you notice, just don't talk about politics very much. When did you last hear Tom Cruise make a speech at an award ceremony about anything political?
He's a Scientologist.
Yeah.
No. He is.
What do you mean?
No, he is. But when did he last talk about that?
Bending spoons.
When did he last talk about that on a stage at an award ceremony?
Exactly.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
A lot of them
He
have
talked a
their
lot of
weird
he.
little peccadillos, not least of which Scientology. But he doesn't talk about it at award ceremonies.
Drinker's
and
trying
I
to
think
make a
that's
point.
right.
Drinker's
Right?
trying to
I just
make a
think once
point.
you do, you've got to be consistent.
Let Drinker
It's like all the
talk.
people who have been, very, very angry, pro-Palestinian, anti-Israeli, but said absolutely nothing after October the 7th. Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, can't respect that. I do if you said that was horrific. And by the way, I think what's happening now is, but not when you're selective in your moral outrage. Let's end on a happier, lighter note. We've come up with the Pearsies. Well, I haven't, but one of my producers, Paul, who has a slightly inflamed, if not crazed mind, has come up with the Pearsies. So this is just a series of quick, quiet questions. I want answers from all of you. They're pretty straightforward, but they do reveal a mindset, I think, about you, your character, and your view of movies and how they impact on life. So there are various nominations in each category. The first one is the best James Bond. And let's start with you, Critical Drinker. Connery, Moore, or Craig?
Connery. It's got to be. As a fellow Scot, I have to support him, and I think he embodied the masculinity of Bond, the danger, the menace,
Chat,
and
what you say?
the cool intellectualism.
I'm not a Bond guy myself, so I really don't have a dog in the fight.
All of those things were in perfect balance with Connery.
Nodrodic?
Connery. Absolutely. I agree. I grew up with Roger Moore, but Connery was the more accurate, the better Bond.
Okay, Ava?
Don't ask me. I'm not good on Bond. It wasn't a film for me. It wasn't a film for me.
Even when Daniel Craig went all drippy and wokey.
I was, I'm a Pride and Prejudice Little Women kind of girl. I go for the girly movie.
You can go and see them now. Bond's not allowed to seduce women.
Yeah,
He gets arrested now.
There we go.
And he can't shoot villains.
I'll tell you what, I'll
it's,
love the first
it's bad for
female
their
Bond.
mental health.
How about that?
Definitely Connery. Craig
Really?
lost it for me when he started crying.
See, I'm going to say more because when I was young, I was actually, people said I look like Roger Moore. And he also came up with the best line I've ever heard about doing sex scenes with Bond girls. And I said to him, I interviewed him for my Life Story show, and I said, what's it like? It must be really difficult. And he said, well, Piers, let me put it to you like this, He said, I used to always go up to whichever lady it was before we started filming, and I'd say before the love scene, I'd say, I'd like to apologise in advance if I get overexcited. And then he said, and I'd pause and then say, and I'd also like to apologise if I don't.
Oh.
Okay, a few more.
That's a good one.
Best Godfather instalment. All right, Critical Drinker. 1, 2, or God forbid 3?
No one's going to pick 3. Come on.
Nobody's going to pick 3.
Probably 2. Just that balance of Pacino and De Niro in the same movie, superb. The time jumps between the 1912s, the 1920s, and the present day in the 50s and 60s. Great. Seeing how Vito became the man that he was, fantastic. That the dual narrative works so well in that movie.
Nodrodic?
Part 1, Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Because of Marlon Brando.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
I need to rewatch the Godfather movies. It has been so fucking long since I watched them. I wonder if I will have a different perception of them now.
Part 1. And actually, I would add James Caan, whose Sonny Corleone was one of the great
James Caan is such a
Never
fucking
gets enough
legend.
credit. Absolutely
that
sensational.
James Caan doesn't get enough credit in general. James Caan has been in so many amazing films. It's crazy.
You too?
The first
Have you watched them?
I haven't watched the third one. I've watched the first and second installment. The
Which
first
one?
Because it had the most memorable lines. You know
Which
what I
one?
mean?
First one?
The first one, yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
very drunk, 3.
Oh
What?
no! Oh no!
Really drunk,
Nobody
okay?
has ever said they prefer Godfather 3.
Drunk on
That's literally...
First time in
That is a
That's like
first.
saying, do you prefer Chateau Latour
It
or
starts
Chateau
a-
Lafitte?
no, but it
Actually, I
starts
like
a
a bit of
conversation.
Liebfraum milk.
It's like preferring Greece.
It's a
to
conversation,
Greece.
you know?
Yeah, horrific.
You're enjoying
All right, that's horrific. Let's move on. Best director never to win an Oscar. So the nominations are Critical Drinker, Hitchcock, Kubrick, Tarantino, Ridley Scott. incredible quartet of directors never to win an Oscar. Who's the one that should have done of those four?
Kubrick.
That's a tricky one. Kubrick is responsible for some of the most influential movies in the whole history of cinema.
Yes, it's got to be him. It's got to be him.
But my heart says Ridley Scott, just because I love Blade Runner so much, and Alien, both fantastic movies. So I'd go with him.
Okay. Nerdrotic?
Kubrick, because I mean Hitchcock is the easiest answer, but Kubrick is a master.
Yes.
And he made his Stephen King book better than the book.
Okay, I'm going to say Hitchcock. I thought Hitchcock, the fact he never won an Oscar was outrageous.
That's actually.
I think he did end up getting something, but not as director. Then they gave him a lifetime achievement or something. But he just, I mean, a masterful director.
I was going to say Tarantino, but that's because I find his films are the easiest to have like cult followings.
Yeah.
Not Greta Gerwig for you then, no?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. Have you got a? Do you even know who these four are?
I'm going for secret option number 5, Miss Gerwig.
All right, best blonde bombshell. Here we go. Critical drinker, Marilyn or Margot Robbie?
Oh, gosh. I've always got an eye for the classics, so I'm going to go for Marilyn.
Nerdrotic?
Marilyn.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go with
the
Marilyn
original.
Monroe.
We share a bone structure.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, we share.
Oh, you do. Ava?
I go for Margot.
Yeah.
I'm actually, well, as a deciding vote, I'm actually going to cast Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
you go.
think she's become the biggest female star in the world.
Yeah.
And I like the fact also there's a lot of brains behind the beauty.
Yeah.
That she set up this production company and that she's done brilliantly and she's making gazillions. I like that. Okay.
And she's alive.
Yeah, the last two. Yeah, exactly. That
helps.
That always helps.
Which
yeah.
helps. All right, last two. Best Rocky film. There have been 6 Rocky movies. So, critical drinker, which one?
Man, this is a tough one because I love Rocky 6. I love Rocky Balboa. I think that's such a beautiful way to end the series, and it really redeemed it after Rocky 5. But it's probably going to have to be Rocky 1, realistically. It's just got the absolute magic. It'll never be replicated.
Okay, Nerdrotic?
Rocky 3.
Wow, Mr. T.
Love Rocky 3. Mr. T.
What's your prediction
All
of the
way.
fight? Pain.
Yes.
Love that. He was a great character. I mean, so was Dolph Lundgren in 4.
I have
they had great
I have nostalgia
villains.
for one more than any Rocky.
Esther?
Not my thing.
Not your thing?
No, not your thing. No.
I'm scared to keep telling these men, but I hated Rocky. I'm so sorry. I'm so
You
sorry.
can't hate Rocky.
What is wrong with you? Come on.
Why are you like this?
I'm being too honest. I'm so
didn't
sorry.
even
You
get
love
inspired
Godfather
by the
3 and
first
hate
one.
Rocky. I mean, there's something actually wrong with you. I would say this about the Rocky. I once watched the first 4 back-to-back in the Uckfield Picture House cinema in East Sussex on the south coast of England. Took about 6.5 hours. One of the great 6.5 hours of my life. But gave me a great chance to watch them in sequence. And I always
I
thought...
still maintain that 2 is underrated.
2
as
is
well.
underrated, absolutely. And obviously ends the way you want it to end at the start of the first one. Rocky 1 is the most beautifully made film and thoroughly deserved winning Best Picture. And of course, it's an incredible story that Stallone turned down millions to turn down playing the role and let somebody else do it. They wanted to pay him not to be the actor. But he said, no, I'm going to be the star, and that's it. And it made him what he is. But I'm actually going to go with Rocky Balboa, the 6th one, because it was 20 years after the last one. Rocky 5, which no one's mentioned, was the sort of terminal disease, actually, of Rocky films. One of the worst things I've ever watched. But in Rocky Balboa, what I love was, I've got 3 sons in their 20s. The scene in the street when the spoiled brat son, which none of mine have been, but when the spoiled brat son finally winds up his dad enough that Rocky has it out with him in the street, and he does that speech about life is not a bed of roses, it's tough, and it will beat you down if you let it. And if you want to win in life, it's not how many times you can hit, it's how many times you can get hit and keep moving forward. That is one of the great speeches in movie history. So for that alone...
The polar opposite of the Barbie speech.
Correct.
Thank you.
The absolute antithesis
Thank you.
of everything Barbie stands for. So I'm going Rocky Balboa, the 6th of the franchise. A final question, probably the most significant, actually, in terms of your character. The critical drinker, do you have your popcorn sweet, salted, or mixed?
Whoa, that is a tough one indeed. I'm going to go for salted because I prefer salted stuff over like really sweet things. Same with my cocktails. I want bitter cocktails instead of sweet ones.
All right, so they're at the end right here. So that was really cool. Really big shout out to my boys, Critical Drinker and Gary from Nerdrotic. That is awesome, man. I really that's crazy. The fact that Piers Morgan is looking to these guys, it just shows the impact that so many of me and my friends are like, we're swimming with the, like Ripa, what he's doing. Friday Night Tights is crushing it after what we did on MegaCon. We just had Dean Cain on Geeks and Gamers. It's wild, man. It's wild what's going on. And the fact that this happened on the same day as what Ripa's doing with Yaira, massive fucking wins, man. And we cannot get... we can't lose focus of the fact that we're just a bunch of retards talking about movies and video games, and we're gonna continue to stay the course because, man, it's been wild. It's been wild to see all of this happening. So congratulations to Gary and Drinker. That is just fantastic to see. I'm so proud of those guys. I love both those dudes, man. The honor to call them a friend. And yeah, man, I really appreciate them. So that's super cool. Super cool. Jenna Hughes for 50 says, statistically speaking, this super chat will go farther than the length of descent. So I'm gonna still, so I am still a lady. So Jeremy, I cannot finish that sentence, but I'm certain you're a smart man and will figure it out. If not, chat will help. I have faith. No, I totally know what you mean. Thank you, Jenna Hughes. Sorry it took me so long to get to that one. I apologize. We were watching all of that, and I appreciate you. That was back when I was talking about Ron DeSanctimonious. Thank you so much, Jenna. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you and all of your support for everything that we're doing. Piano Dean for 20 says, people used to name themselves ass when they got high scores on arcade games to be funny, but I always did it with to genuinely honor my ass, even though I knew it was special and deserved respect. Just like the 199 hail. Thank you, Piano Dean. Piano Dean sent me merch of him, which is phenomenal, by the way. Ajax Slam Goody says they are trying to make illegals have the right to vote for Democrats. Oh, yeah, 100%. That's exactly what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing. Shit, it's already 11 o'clock. Okay, I have another stream I got to be on, so I guess I might go live later to read the rest of the Super Chats, but we do have Mario Kart tonight that I have to go over there and be on, so I was actually going to try to keep this to 1 hour to 1 hour and 30 minutes, but we're at the 2 hour mark. So I'm going to have to, I guess maybe I'll go live again tonight. Do you guys want me to go live? I have not played Fortnite yet. I have not played the new season. I haven't played Fortnite in like weeks. Do you want me to go over there and do the Super Chat square up over there after Mario Kart? Yes or no? I'm sorry for those that I've not gotten to yet. I hate leaving Super Chats on the board. Do you want me to do a square up playing Fortnite tonight? Playing the new Fortnite tonight. I'll ask the chat really quickly. Let's see. And of course, chat rules. Square up playing Fortnite tonight. I have not played fucking Fortnite in a while, actually. I kind of got burnt out on it. But this new update, I have no idea what I'm walking into. So if you guys want that, I can. I'm going to hate it, says Hailstorm. Oh, my God. Well, I guess we'll find out. While I'm letting you guys vote on that, I'll keep reading some more. I'm sorry. I hate doing this. Let's see. CWSB says, Hannah is adjacent of the Black Rifle Company Black Rifle Coffee Company. Great friends with Heather. Let's see. Samira is like 10 degrees separation from BRCC. Yeah, I saw some people talking about that the Hannah chick is like connected with Black Rifle Coffee. I mean, look, man, like it is what it is. I don't Black Rifle stepped in it big time a while back. I didn't pay too much close attention to that story. But you know, we'll have to see. But Mary Nicholson says, I only have one response to someone hating our Southern country accents. Bless your heart. Zinny Biscuit says, I'm a simple Southern belle. Don't mind getting my hands dirty one day and getting dolled up the next day. American by birth, Southern by the grace of God. Look at that. That is awesome, Zinny Biscuit. Jake Martin says, if you don't like Hannah, you're either gay, foolish, or a liar. CG87343 says, if being attracted to her makes me gay, then I don't want to be straight. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, well, I'm going to come out of the closet. I'm gay as fuck for Hannah. You're welcome for the ESG, Jeremy. Hey, we might get better super chats now that we've got some ESG scores in here. David Lopez says, happy to see The Boy and the Heron wins Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. Can't blame Miyazaki for not showing up. I actually liked that movie. I did watch that one, and I very much enjoyed it. It took a little while for me to really think about it, though, but I did like it. Master Bader says, Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker were on Piers Morgan. Yeah, we just watched it. Fantastic Mr. Knox says, it's not Act Man, it's Act Ma'am. Hail the 199. Cellular Dream says, is Hannah your cousin, Jeremy? Luckily, no. Eric John Pizza Artist, pissed Arnold and Danny didn't announce twins too. Big Black Ninja says, Crisco or olive oil, Jeremy? I'm gonna rub you good, boy. Eric John Pizza Artist says, Fox says producers told him not to read Trump post. Really? I'm going to have to look that up. Objectively a Cat says, as Kirsch once said to these self-hating virtue signalers, you're not one of the good ones and nobody sees you that way. 1000%. Alan Fox says, I didn't see anything but a floating Trump 2024 sign. Dave Nunn says, Jeremy has had Cena Oscars on loop ever since. Scarface says, how much Adderall did they pump into Biden? Flag Ninja says, they would never let Sydney Sweeney walk out on stage like that. Alan Fox says, finally, your boomer moment. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier, the psychos in D.C. have launched a Destroy Haiti project. They want millions of refugees from Haiti. They will destroy Gaza to bring in. Look into that story. I have seen that going around. Philip Chan says, wait, Santa isn't real? I've been making all these toys in the sweatshop for nothing. Ryan Schaefer says, I saw earlier today that RFK officially got enough signatures and will be on all 50 states. More bad news for Biden. MAGA 2024, 28, 32, 36, and 40. Shadow Sand says, Gary hasn't dressed that night since Alice Jones was on Friday Night Tights. Chris Rocker says, Barbie was made for Dan Vask. Sophie says, hail, Jeremy. Your birthday gifts are delivered. Please tell me when you get them. One of them is a manga. Hope it's in good condition. The other, hope it's your size. Thank you, Sophie. I appreciate that. Lance says, Ken is the Rorschach of this decade. The author intended for them to be the villain, but everyone ended up seeing them as the true hero, rightfully so. Zandy says, material for video for you. DHS-funded organization just put out an article on how devs need to speak out against Gamergate 2, our taxes at work. I will look that up, actually, because I'm covering a lot of this stuff on Geeks and Gamers right now. Darkside Joy says, Piers made a whole career out of cutting people off and making better points than his own. He's a control freak. Lord Crush says, the woman in the red is Esther Cray. I don't know how to say her last name, but I saw people saying, I'm going to have to look her up. She was awesome. John Kinney says, hail to 199. Jeremy, you and your crew are appreciate. 63215. How can Ron Meatball possibly redeem himself? He is dead for me. Yeah, I don't think he can. I really don't think he can. Sally Ito with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Emmanuel with a gifted membership. Thank you. Is Doug B in the house? Tucker is a national treasure. Thank God he's doing what he's doing. Do right and risk consequences. Truth is hate to those who hate the truth. Shout out to Doug B. Let's see. And then we got Mod Eric says, Beardo is in love again. He wants Jay to introduce him. PJ says, hi, Jeremy. No pressure, but I had a really long day. I'm counting on you and the Snake Pit to make me laugh a little bit. Thank you in advance. Well, I hope we did. Vault 95 says, CobraCast 199 is such a relief. Certain fence posts with beanies on them were arguing on how no puppeteering in DC and that Joe is 100% in charge. D-Gay Cobra will take over because it's superior. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to have to leave it there. I think I got everything but the member messages because I love you guys so freaking much. So thank you all. I'm going to raid let's see. What did you guys say? Oh, you do? All right. I guess we're playing tonight. So there you go. Okay, so we're going to raid the Mario Kart stream. I'm going to join those guys. PJ says, for your birthday, I'm giving you the gift of meeting me in Vegas. You are so lucky. I can't wait, PJ. I can't wait. That's going to be awesome. We just hit 1,500 likes really quickly. Boom. There's the sexy back in. 67 new members, 736 in chat revenue. Thank you all so much for the support, the continued support. If you're not interested in the Mario Kart stream, you can go over to Geeks and Gamers. I just uploaded another video there, and then later tonight, I have another video talking about Sony and the digital problem that we're having. And the thumbnail has Sydney Sweeney representing physical media and Frost representing digital media. I mean, come on. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. So with that said, thank you all so very much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to, I can't do the outro tonight because it's 3 minutes. And so we're just going to, we're going to go to the ending screen. Okay. And then we're going to raid the Mario Kart stream. I'm going to jump over there. I hope you guys will join me over there. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone. Oh, and then I guess I'll see you for Fortnite tonight over on D-Day Cobra 199. So if you have not subscribed to that channel, please do that. I'm playing Fortnite. First time I've played Season 2. Hailstorm says I'm going to hate it. So I'll see you guys over there after Mario Kart. Love you all. Bye, everyone.